Good day, OA. How are you today? My name is Lionel Garcia. I'm your Vice President of Sales and Agent Development. And today we are back with another Motivation Monday. I love coming here. And today we're going to be talking about something that successful entrepreneurs do incredibly well. They celebrate progress, right? They don't just celebrate those milestones. They don't just celebrate those huge commission checks. They celebrate the small wins. They celebrate those little small wins that eventually create the big wins. And that's what we are going to talk about today. But before we jump in, I love going over and sharing with you our wins of the week. So let's talk about this. This is really my favorite segment. What are your wins? Put them in the chat. Maybe you booked a new client this week, or you received a referral, or maybe you finally made those follow-up calls that you've been dreading. Maybe it's even a smaller goal. Maybe you finally put in those bookings into the CRM. And I know you dread putting in the bookings. Us salespeople, we hate doing that paperwork or the typing or recording of things. So maybe you finally went ahead and put it in the CRM. Maybe you posted consistently this week on social media, or maybe your win is just that you showed up today and you're here and you're making progress and you're just one step closer, one step better than you were last week. And that's really what it's all about, is trying to see what your wins. So whatever your wins are, go ahead and put it in the chat box. Let's celebrate it. I love celebrating with you. Every single success is built one win at a time. So I have no problem celebrating that with you. I want to celebrate it with you and share it with everybody. So go ahead and put it in the comments. I would say for me, professionally, my win this past week was we hosted our first training in the new facility. It's not a new building per se, but we've renovated our classroom, and that was our advanced groups class. We had just about 25 students here. It was wonderful to see them. We had training with Alon and talking about groups and specifically the MICE industry, the meeting incentive charter and events industry. We also had suppliers from across the country to come in and visit. We even had people from across the globe. We had Your Italy DMC traveled here all the way from Italy and spoke to our agents. So that was a huge, huge win. So I know there's some of you watching here live. Some of you may be watching remote or on recording. So let me know. Just put it in the chat. We'd love to celebrate the wins with you. Today's topic is celebrating the wins and why tracking wins creates, what do we want? We want more wins. And I love having more wins and seeing more wins. But let's be honest, right? As entrepreneurs, we're almost always focused on what's next. And I find this so challenging because I talk to a lot of agents and they set a goal, but it seems like even myself, I set a goal and it seems like the goalpost keeps moving. The goal line keeps moving. So we're always looking at what's next. We're thinking about what's the next booking, or we hit our commission threshold and we're thinking, okay, what's the next commission threshold? How am I going to get it? Or thinking about the next client or the next goal or the next milestone. And here's the truth is that, yeah, ambition is powerful, but there is this little danger that sometimes we get so focused on where we're going that we forget how far, look back there and see how far we've already come. There's so many things that we're accomplishing that sadly, we don't even give ourselves enough credit for, because as soon as we reach it, we're already thinking about what's the next goal. Where am I going to next? Where am I going to find the next client? What am I going to do next? So as soon as we make that booking, what do? We start thinking about the next one. So we get a goal and we replace it already with another goal. And we didn't even get a chance to celebrate it. So over time, here's the challenging part, is that this makes us feel like we're always chasing, right? You're always going to the next thing. You're never arriving. Your mind doesn't get a chance to say, I've made it. I achieved this. Great. Go me. No. So here's the truth. We want to do a mindset shift. And that is that success grows where appreciation flows. So when you recognize progress, you get to create confidence. And when you create confidence, you can take more action. And when you take more action, that helps you create more results. So this is why tracking wins isn't just something that feels good, right? It can actually be your business strategy. So track your wins, write things down, know what you're trying to achieve them, mark it, and then get to look back and celebrate the success that you are having. And that's why I love on our Mondays, we get together and we start our Motivation Monday to build that motivation, to build that inspiration, where we get to talk about and celebrate our wins. So I know today no one's shared any wins yet. That's okay. But we will see them as this video posts and gets shared. Many of you are going to share your wins and successes. So think about it. If every day ended with you identifying one thing that went well, how would that change your mindset? How would it change your confidence? Are you going to feel more motivated? You better believe it. Of course you are. The most successful people aren't motivated because they have fewer challenges. We probably think that that's the case, but the truth is they have the same challenges, if not sometimes you could argue even more challenges. They're motivated because they've trained themselves to see the progress, and that progress then will create momentum. So let's work on, instead of focusing on everything that's left to do, take a moment and acknowledge everything that you've already accomplished. Yes, even the simple things like you sent an email, right? Or like we started at the beginning of this segment, did you make a call to a client you've been dreading to call? So you do deserve credit for how far you've come. So let's solve this problem. Let's create a call to action. And every Motivation Monday, I love giving you a call to action, something that you can work on right away. So I want you to start a win log. So here's how it's going to work. It's simple. Every single day for the next 7 days, I want you to write down 3 wins. These 3 wins can be anything. They don't have to be huge. They don't have to be large. Just 3 wins. They can be that you sent an email, that you learned something new. Maybe you took some courses in the LMS, or you took a course with a supplier. Maybe you posted on social media, had a great client conversation, completed a training, stayed focused on your priorities. That's it. Write down 3 wins per day for the next 7 days. And here's the goal is simple: to train your mind to look at things in progress, not perfection, right? But progress, that you're making accomplishments, that you're stepping forward. And at the end of the week, you get to look back at your list and say, oh, look at everything I got to do. You will be surprised by how much you've actually accomplished, and you are going to be proud of yourself and motivated and inspired to continue to push forward. I've had a few comments come in, so let's see what we have here. You have clients on the way to Canada from Florida today, and they found the right prices for her. Fantastic. I love hearing that. And another client leaving on the Valor for 4 days. That's great. Excellent. So yes, celebrate your wins, celebrate those accomplishments. And every Motivation Monday, I like having a quote of the day. So let's jump into our quote of the day. And that is that success is a series of small wins repeated day after day. And that is the case. Success really comes from small wins repeated day after day. Remember, big success isn't just one giant moment. It's the accumulation of hundreds of small wins. And I find that really comforting to know, because a lot of times we see people post their highlight reels on social media, right? Or they share them maybe at the end of the year. If you're friends with some people, some families, they're like sending you an email or a letter that shows the highlight reel of the year. They didn't tell you all their failures. No, they showed you all the wins, of course. And so what happens is we get trained to think that everybody's winning except me. But this is why you want to have that win log, so you could see and reflect on all the wins that you are having and how you are making accomplishments and how far you actually have come. So go ahead and do that, because here's the thing. You'll see people, all of a sudden you see them succeed and you're like, oh, how did they do it? And you're going to think it's an overnight success. The truth is, it wasn't an overnight success. It was a combination of multiple small wins compounded on top of other small wins, on top of other small wins. And then it became this huge win, this huge big deal. And to the outside world, it looks like, wow, an overnight success. But they will be the first to tell you that it was not an overnight success. All right, I have a few more comments that are in here. We have Tim had a great conversation this morning with the BDM and a new brand that's new to him. Congrats, Tim. That's awesome. Yeah. We got Chrissy stopped by Total Wine to see the room for her cruise night. All right. That is awesome. If you don't know, Total Wines do a great job, a great venue for cruise nights. They're great. And thank you, Dreamy Destination Travel. I'm glad that this is helpful and something that's nice to hear. Sometimes it's nice to be reassured of these things. So in closing, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of our Motivation Monday. Thank you for sharing your wins. Thank you for taking on the challenge, that call to action of creating a win log, one that you're going to share 3 wins, record 3 wins that you are accomplishing every single day, at least for the next 7 days. This week, I want you to focus on not just don't chase your goals, celebrate your progress, recognize the effort, acknowledge those wins, those W's, acknowledge those W's, because when you learn to see the progress, you'll never run out of reasons to stay motivated. So I want you to have a great week, stay moving forward, and I look forward to seeing you at our next Motivation Monday. It's going to take place August 3rd. I'm skipping next Monday. I am heading on vacation over the weekend and taking Monday off, just Monday. So it's going to be a little bit of a long weekend for me personally, but I will be back. There will be a replay on Monday, and I'll be back with you live on August 3rd. Stay tuned. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.